God, for he says, and he meant it, I will never leave you. Am I in this house this morning? Nor will I forsake you. In the worst of times, you can rest assured that God is right there. When you are at your wit's end, you can rest assured that God is right there. Well, the text that I want to talk about picks up in verse number 10. For the Bible said, for thus said the Lord, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, he said, I will visit you. Amen. All right. We need to pay close attention to that, because I just told you that God ordained and ordered this captivity. All right. Do I have a witness? But then not only did he order and ordain the captivity, he set a time limit on it. He said, watch this. I don't care how much you pray. I don't care how much you fast. You can give more if you want to. You will remain where you are for 70 years. I have a witness in this house. I mean, God is the only one that can put a time limit on our trouble. Negroes try to tell you when you're going to be blessed. Nobody knows when you'll break through. Nobody knows. God says, listen, you will remain where you are for 70 years. Do I have a witness in this house? But guess what? Even in those 70 years, while you are where you are, you can rest assured that God will never leave us. I'd like to suggest to you that verse number 10 also suggests that he is an omnipotent God. He's an all-powerful God. For he can say what he wants to say. He can do what somebody call him sovereign. Say he can do what he want to do, when he want to do it, to whomever he wants to do it to. Watch the text. Watch the text, because although they are in captivity, the Bible still speaks truth. God has a plan for your life. Do I have a witness in here? Let me just suggest there are things that we're planning on doing that we don't know that's against the plans of God. There's a commercial that says, you ever want to see God laugh, tell him your plans. Do I have a witness in this house? And a lot of us got God laughing because he sit and listen to what we plan on doing. But God says, I know the plans, the thoughts that I have for your life. Y'all not in this house with me. I need to let you go. He says the text, he says, for thus said the Lord, that after 70 years be accomplished, I will visit you. Watch this. He said the blessings are already yours. He said the blessings are already set aside with your name on it, but some things you just can't claim until what you're in is over. Do I have a witness? It's just like a trust fund. If you die and leave money to a minor, they cannot obtain what the blessing is already there until they become of age. And God is saying, listen, nobody's going to get your blessing. I'm not going to change my mind. That I promised I will do. He said, but watch this. It won't happen until you've been where you are for 70 years. Now, I'm glad he said that to these folk in Babylon. I don't know if I could handle if God said, I won't bless you for another 70 years. I would respond, Lord, I don't know if I got 70 years. I need my blessings right now. Do I have a witness in this house? He shared with us not only that he would never leave us, but he makes them a promise in verse number 10. And watch this, watch this, watch this. What better person than to receive a promise than from God? You know, I've gotten to the point now, I don't believe nothing people say. No. I don't believe nothing you say. If you tell me you're going to do it, you have to show me. Amen. And people love to rattle off promises when you get in trouble. Baby, call me if you need me. I'll be right there. All right. Y'all not in here, are you? Remember, he shares with them. He says, listen, he says, I will visit you, and watch this, perform what I already promised you, but it won't happen until you've been where you are for 70 years. Right. So a lot of time we feel like because we are in a terrible situation, because things are not going right, then God has aborted his plan. Can I share something with you? Situations don't change the plan of God. Terrible conditions don't alter the thoughts of God. He says, listen, I already know what I want to do with you. I already know what I want to do through you, and I already know what I want to do to you. And the situation that you find yourself in does not change the way that I think. All right. Aren't you glad that he's not like us, that we'll change our mind according to the situation. I love you as long as you bringing it in, but get laid off and all of a sudden that love starts to dwindle. We change our mind based on the situation.
All right.
I have a witness in this house. Some of you was going to wear something else this morning, but when you woke up and the sun was shining, your mind immediately changed to coincide with the condition. What if God changed his mind according to our condition? What if he said, listen, the more you sin, the less I'm going to bless you. The more you lie, the less I'm going to walk with you. I'm glad he don't change his mind according to where we are in life. Matter of fact, I'm glad he don't deal with us on a fair basis. Because if he dealt with us fairly, we wouldn't be here this morning. If he dealt with us fairly, you wouldn't live where you live. You wouldn't drive what you drive. You wouldn't work where you work. You wouldn't eat what you eat if he dealt with us fairly. I wish I had somebody that wanted to hear me this morning. If he dealt with us fairly, we'd be in trouble. But he shines with him. This is the promise. This is the promise. And for every situation, God has a promise. He says to them, he says, listen, after you've been where you've been for 70 years, I will visit you and do what I promised that I was going to do in your life.
All right, all right.
Matter of fact, he says, listen, here's what I want to do. Once you remain the way you are for 70 years, I'll come get you and I'll return you to where you are.
All right. All right.
Sometimes, take it that God sometimes does things to teach us.
All right. All right.
He said, listen, you stay there. And after you spend time here, then I'll come get you and take you back to where you
All right, all right.
Where you are. So we need to think about being in captivity. Being in captivity is just not some run-of-the-mill position. I mean, when you're in captivity, you lose everything. You lose your freedom. You have to do what folk tell you to do. You have to go where folk tell you to go. And a lot of us are wondering, why am I being held captive by my finances? Why am I being held captive by the way I think, by the way I act? Yes, you know what it is to be in captivity. He shares with them. He shares with them. He says, listen, he said, I will visit you.
All right.
He said, I will perform my good word toward you. What more do you need to hear?
All right.
Focus said, and the worst people you want to deal with say, you got my word.
All right.
Be leery of folk that say,
my word is my
you got my word. My word is, if you won't pay your bills,
all right.
you sure won't.
All
See,
right.
we got track records. Won't we tell them Friday? I'll have it in Monday.
All right.
And Monday come and go and come again, and we still. Used to be when we grew up, Daddy and them didn't have no money, but if he told you he would pay you, he'd pay you. They could walk out with a few watermelons just on their
word.
They could get the key to that house just on their word. My word is my bond. People used to walk in the bank and get a loan on their word. Not. God says, listen, I'm going to come back and perform according to my word.
All right.
His promise is not short. And not only did he promise these that have been held captive in Babylon, but that's a promise to us right today.
All right.
Am I boring y'all?
No, go ahead.
He says, I know the plan.
All right.
It seemed to me that he's acting in response to someone in captivity. You know how you show up and you say, listen, I'm going to come for you. I'm going to take care of you. And someone in captivity asks the question, well, hold on.